there. In this video, we're going to talk about how to niche and why you need a niche. Well, let's understand that first. And really my goal in this video is to convince you and show you what a niche can do for you. So this video is really for anyone who's hesitant, who might be foggy on their niche, or who's afraid. Maybe you're afraid of alienating your current clients, or you're afraid of missing out on working with clients that because your niche would be too narrow. Okay, and this applies for staffing and recruiting and really all small businesses. I experienced this too in my coaching business. When I started out, I'm going to tell you that story. When I started out as a generalist and when I switched to niching, everything just starts to flow. I'm Diane Prince, and I built 2 8-figure niche staffing agencies. I sold one for $28 million to a public company and another one in a private sale to the former chairman of Adecco. So I have learned a few things, and I share my 5 steps to building an 8-figure business and how I did it. So I'm going to share things from my experiences and how I did it and how you can do it too. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because my vision is to make entrepreneurship easier for you. So subscribe, and you're going to get tons of tips and also free resources and tools in the, in the copy, in the write-up section. So let's dig in. So hesitations that I see in choosing niches are as follows. I'm afraid, what are my current clients going to think if I niche and they're not in that niche? What about my messaging? Do I have to change my website right away? Okay, and I'm going to say to those things, no, just choose. First, start by choosing your lane if you don't already have a niche, okay? And so my niche was title insurance people. So super narrow, and that allowed us to place, we typically had about, at the height of our business, we had about 800 contractors working at any given time. We did expand to adjacent roles. So we did title insurance, we did escrow, like escrow assistants, we did loan processors, and then we also started doing banking. So we were able to expand upon our niche from starting with a super narrow niche. And the reason why title insurance of all things? Well, when I started my business, and I got into staffing very intentionally because we had a vision of building a business that we could scale and exit. And we're thinking about all sorts of different kinds of businesses. And it wasn't that we decided on staffing and then decided to choose a niche. It was the whole package. It was, let's start a temp agency for title insurance people. And I'm sharing that because to tell you how integral it was. It wasn't just staffing, then let's pick the niche. It was, okay, let's do staffing for title insurance. So the two were so important together. It was the business model that aligned with our vision to build a company that we could exit, as well as for title insurance that was very niche. Okay. And those were 2 of the super magic ingredients that helped us to scale and sell for $28 million. So why did we come upon title insurance? Well, one is that we had access to the industry, sort of. We were adjacent. We were in industry adjacent. And what that means is we had some familiarity with it. My dad worked in title for 35 years. He was an executive at Chicago Title Insurance. So he was able to introduce us to the talent people, the HR heads at Chicago Title. And even though they ended up not being our biggest client and not even our first client, but we kind of had this idea that, well, even if Chicago Title is our client, we'll be good. Okay. And they did end up being one of our anchor clients, but not our biggest client. And my dad had gotten my then husband a job in title insurance. So my husband knew generally about title, and I had temped. So that was all my experience. I had never been an entrepreneur, neither had my husband. We were young. We were 27 years old, 26, 27 years old. I think 26 when we started planning it. And then we had no experience, but he had some experience in title. So we had that general knowledge and also sort of an in. So that became, it wasn't something, we didn't choose something that was totally foreign to us. We chose something that we had some access to. It was where we had warm leads in our network. Another reason why why title insurance worked well, one was the timing. It was the timing in the market. Not going into huge details, but we started in Southern California, where back then, I don't know what it is now, but a third of real estate transactions in the entire country took place in Southern California. We were recovering from a big earthquake. So tons of people in any kind of real estate field had been out of work. So it was a time when the economy was starting to get back, and it was really good timing. And there were also a lot of foreclosures too. So we did, that was part of our business too, were people who were processing foreclosures, which is also part of the title insurance, part of what happens in title insurance. Okay, so not to get too in the weeds, it's just an example of, there were circumstances on why the timing was right in the market. It was very underserved. Title companies were using general temp agencies. They didn't have agencies really that were specialized in title insurance. So that's what we went for, and it really worked. Now, did I know what the roles were? What? Not, no. I just started interviewing people, and we had this like wobbly IKEA table in a side room of this house that was it was, the kitchen had some roaches, and our next door neighbors had like appliances in their front yard, and it was it was not attractive. And we were in our 20s, and we had people well into their 50s wearing business suits sitting at our little IKEA table. And that's how I learned. Okay, so I had access. I had access. My husband had knowledge on what people did in title, and I just started learning by interviewing, which is also how we started getting our first clients. And it was because we not only specialized in title insurance, but we specialized geographically. So we started in LA County, soon to Orange County, which is about they touch each other, but different counties, and then different counties in California. And then we expanded nationwide in similar clusters. Like we had some cities in Florida, in Texas, and some other places, Arizona. So we had geographic clusters as well. So our niche really helped us to be specialists and be the go-tos in the industry. And fast forward now, I have a coaching and consulting business, and I also have a staffing agency. And who do I specialize in? I specialize in helping staffing agencies. Why? Well, when I started coaching, I was kind of bored of staffing. I was like, this has happened to me a few times before, where I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. So I started coaching. I was coaching all kinds of founders, startup founders, business owners. I had a retail store owner, and it was fine. Like things were rolling, and it was fine. But I did a lot of cold outreach. I mostly got my clients through cold email outreach. I wasn't specializing in anything. I had a ton of competition, and there was really nothing like that made me stand out, except for my winning personality. And so I hired a coach, and he said, "Why are you not specializing in staffing and recruiting? You have more experience in your pinky finger than these other guys do." And I was like, okay, well, let me try that. Once I did, everything started flowing. So I had not followed the lesson that I learned from building On Staff, which was my first very niche temp agency. And as soon as I niched, it was easy for me to get consistent on my content. We started getting incoming leads like crazy, like up to 5 incoming leads every single day. I was able to write content and speak directly to my target clients. Now I don't even do much cold outreach. Most of our clients come from incoming leads. They come from YouTube videos like this, or seeing us on LinkedIn, or hearing about us in rooms that we're not even in, because now we're the go-to when people say, I need a virtual assistant, which is my current staffing agency. I need a virtual assistant. I'm not in the room, and other people are saying, you got to talk to Diane Prince. So just like I did with my business with title insurance, I built my new business, A-Team, at Diane Prince Co., around solving your pain points, because staffing agencies, recruiting agencies, and small businesses are my target market today. And in case you're thinking, I don't have anything naturally that I have access to, I'm not really sure. Your niche doesn't have to be where you came from. It can be where you're called to serve. Okay. So you can think about this. What niche, where are your warm leads? Think about you, your background, your experience, your work experience. What have you done before? And who do you have access to now? What niche would you have the easiest access to? Then, of course, and if you go into the notes, you can download the 9 steps to choosing a profitable niche. This will help you even further to analyze your niche. But first, look at what niche do you already have access to, and what problem does your niche solve? Like what problem in your niche could you solve right now? For us, one of the things in title insurance was they were literally laying people off twice a month based on workflow. So one of the problems we solved was they no longer had to worry about unemployment. Their unemployment insurance all went down because we were keeping people busy, because people would move from one title company to another, then there would be layoffs. And then also they were using temps from generic temp agencies, like generalists, big generalists like Apple One. But the people who they found weren't trained, like they didn't know title insurance. So that was another thing that we did, is we were able to provide people at the ready who could just plug in. So we help save on unemployment insurance. By keeping their people working, we gave them people who already knew what to do. We also were serving the industry and keeping people working, because a lot of times when people get laid off, they go find other work. They go do something else. So we were keeping people in the industry. So those were 3 problems that we were solving, not to mention making people feel good that they didn't just have to lay people off. They knew. And when they were going to lay people off, they called us so that we could place them immediately. So it was a really great, a great, I don't know what I'm going to say, but it was a really good niche that worked for us. Then we were also able to get with our contractors or temps. We're also really able to build a solid community and referral network, because we were so niche, because a lot of them knew each other. We were able to, if we needed someone for a job, we'd call one of our contractors and be like, hey, who do you know? And sure enough, they generally find someone for us. So that's my soapbox about niche, the power of a niche. It will open your world. When you think about your niche, you can be a specialist in one thing. It doesn't mean that you're turning away other business. No, it doesn't. You don't have to, but I highly recommend that you choose a niche that you really go hard on, and you build your content all around your niche, and you serve your target clients, and you talk to your target clients. I'm Diane Prince. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and look in the notes and see any resources that you would like access to, such as 9 steps to choosing your niche.